Hey guys, how are you? My name is Utando Ngunezi. For those of you who don't know, welcome back to the channel. Yes, thank you guys so much for the continued support and that you guys have decided to come back. And for those of you who are joining me for the first time, welcome, welcome, and welcome. So today I'll be doing my town planning journey video. This video will date from way back into my childhood, what kind of child I was, all the way through to the experience that I have. So I felt that it was important to date way back because of I want you guys to see the transition in terms of the things that I wanted to be as a child, and you know how I then discovered town planning and why I still want to do town planning. So yes, again I would like to apologize. I've still got a cold, so now it's the after effects, like, you know, the if you cough and then things come out, or if you laugh then things come out. So I'll edit as far as I can, but I know go to some places it's just so difficult to edit. So yeah, and again I would also like to apologize for the fact that I'll be looking down quite a lot because of the questions that I've written down on a piece of paper. So yeah, let's get this started. So the first question is, what was my childhood like? Okay guys, I had the awesomest. Okay, if I had an opportunity to go and, you know, correct a few things in my childhood, they'd probably be quite minimal, because nje ngikhule kamnandi mina guys, like, you know, Umama was just like that girl, you know, she was able to do it. So I grew up with my mom. I stayed with my mom. So this is what happened. My mom and my dad never got married, right? So I stayed with my mom and my siblings, okay, and cousins and all that jazz. So I did have a relationship with my dad, but I used to see him like once a month at most, yeah, and my stepmom. But all in all, those guys were like, you know, good parents. Shembaza, you know, like, kudos to the team. You guys made it work, so but best believe I had everything that I needed. My mom made sure Uti Yazini Utando will have everything that she needs. And then I remember her angel would say, you know, Usman manabazali bakhe bawu-2 mina ngingedwa, so you can't expect ukuthi ube nezinto ezifanayo nezinye ingane. Imagine guys, in grade 2, moment of silence. In grade 2 guys, I was already taught that lesson, so I knew it was okay. I wouldn't get everything that I wanted, but what was important for me was everything that I needed. And as a result, I was just like a child, understandayo, and I remember dreaming about what could possibly happen, you know. And I remember having no boundaries. I had, like, in a nutshell, I had a really good childhood. I was a very bubbly child. So what did I want to be as a child? Okay, I remember at some point grade 2, 3 wanting to be an actress and a singer. My mom grade 6, 7, around there, I knew that I wanted to be a script writer. Okay, now I remember people will ask me, and I'll be like, a script writer. But no, I'm not talking about novels here. I'm talking about upala ipage for a president and other political persons. And they'd be like, really? It's a yes. So all that goes back to the fact that I didn't have any boundaries. Now when I dreamed as a child, like, it was just like everything was possible. Money was the last thing on my mind. And my mom would drive that. Like, if you want to be something, she'd ask, okay, Dingani, what do I need to help you with? And yabo, what research do you have to do? Whatever. So eventually, when I was in grade 10, I remember wanting to become a air traffic controller. So somewhere, somehow, I don't know when and how, but I discovered Uguti planes don't just fly, ne? There's somebody because I knew I was afraid of heights, so I was never gonna be a pilot. But I knew pants kunomuntu who's controlling the aircraft so I got into that. I was just like, oh, okay, there's something like this, right? See, and I was just like, I could be that girl. And I researched and I was just like, oh, okay, I want to be an air traffic controller. So now when everybody asks me, I'm like, oh, I want to be an air traffic controller and whatnot. So yeah, that's about that. And then came grade 11, 12. Now you don't just say, Mina, I want to be this and this. It's the marks. Yes, it's just the marks. It's the marks. They tell you what, babes, you know, maybe you were too ambitious about this. How about you try this, you know? And I was always that girl who was realistic about things. Maybe it goes back to the fact that my mom when this into you know, some things you can't do because you don't have the resources to do them. So I knew it's okay, girl, now you have to evaluate what you want to do according to the marks. Okay, so how did I hear about town planning? So while I was in grade 11, in matric, I was going through a phase like asking myself, what the hell is going to happen now? Because the marks, especially the math and the physics, is just not communicating. And I did maths, physics, and EGD and mechanical technology in high school. Don't ask me why. I just thought, I'm this girl that can do things that the guys can do. So yes. So I'm looking at the marks. I'm like, the combos are not communicating. Yeah, because like, if I want to be an engineer, then the math and the physics just has to come through, and it's not. Yeah, so I had to decide to go see Miguel, what you gonna do, right? Okay, so I had to decide what I was gonna do. And so it was time zige now. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to choose I'm going to try civil engineering, so I'm gonna choose civil engineering twice. So I'm educated, and just in case I can miraculously raise my marks, and I'll try it in Mangosuthu because they require lower entrance marks. So maybe I'll get the chance, and maybe I'll be able to enter Kona and study there. And then I was like, okay, Miguel, you like arguing, yabo? So why don't you try for law? So I tried for law as well. And then I also so it's okay, you have a passion for children and just teaching people and letting people absorb stuff and apply stuff. So why don't you try for teaching as well? So I was like, what things about teacher? But okay, no, it's fine, because pelage the marks are not communicating. So I did I put in the application for teaching. I think I put in application for law twice. I must have, because I think Kune Kalezu 6 we say so for the 6 spaces I already filled 5 and there was 1 left. So I was just thinking, I need to fill the space now. Whatever can fit in here, let me just take it. So I paged through, say and then I see this town planning, and then I'm like, okay, let me just put in this thing. So it goes in, we say as number 6, right? This is the first time I'm hearing of this town planning, and I'm not even researching about it because I'm just like, I need the last thing to enter. So I just put town planning as my last option. Okay, so how did I get then hear about the town planning, like proper hear about it? So when I was in high school, I went to Sorosilia High School in Glencoe. Shout out to everyone who went there. So I was there preparing for my matric dance, and my partner for my matric dance was already in varsity. And in high school we did the same subjects, pretty much the same subjects. So he was asking me, what do you want to be? And I'm like, I don't know. Hey, like the combos are not communicating. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe I'm gonna take a gap here. Maybe I'll go and au pair something, or do something like that. Or maybe I'll go and be a flight attendant or something. But I don't know what I'm gonna do, honestly, because like the marks and are just not communicating. So he's like, okay, so what did you put on your CAO form? And so I tell him, and then he's like, okay, I could find there's something ephakathi law ne civil. And I'm like, what's that? He's like, town planning. I'm like, oh, town planning. Oh, I remember putting that thing going on the last space of my CAO application. And he's like, I think you should really go for that. I think you can actually do that. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this guy really, maybe he's sent from God. Like, oh wow, yabo. And at the time, I like the guy. That's why I'm even asking him, yabo, would say Abe, my matric dance partner. So that happens, and then soon after, DUT sends me an communication of an entrance test. And so I go to that entrance test, and that leads me to the next question. How easy or hard was it to get into the institution? So DUT sends me that communication. Would say, listen, we are having an entrance test for town planning. Kanje, come through to Durban. So okay, I go to Durban. Useta hosts me at her home. Shout out Seta, you're the bomb. Come. So yeah, I go and I write. I remember I went with one of my roommates from high school, and we wrote the test. Okay, the test was like simple for me. I don't know for other people. So okay, fine. We wrote. It was just an English and math test, but for the math you weren't allowed to use a calculator, just so they could test your logic. So we write the test, we leave, and then a few weeks after, I received conditional offer. But now conditional offer says I need to have 50% in math. So I know how hard that's going to be. So I'm just like, let's put this thing lapayan. We'll see it once the results come out. Jengamanje, we will focus on writing the exam and getting that over and done with. And so I wrote the exam, and luckily, guys, luckily, my math was like 5-0 on the dot. The English I was never worried about. So it was math and English. The math was 5-0 on the dot. And so I woke up the next Monday. I went to the institution. I paid my confirmation fee or something like that, I think, but I remember it was 500 rand. And then they gave me like information on how I'll register. I came back on the date of registration. I registered. It took 1 day. I went and I looked for res. I got res, and that's how easy it was for me to get into the institution. Were there any surprises with the content of town planning? No, I actually kind of knew it's okay. Town planning, you must be planning towns, okay? Yeah, it sort of makes sense. But what the surprising thing was, Nguti, you don't, it's not about planning new towns, okay? It's more about fixing the ones that exist and expanding them and growing them, yabo? So yeah, and making it easier for people to live in the spaces that they live in. And in J, it was just that, like, okay, oh okay, but there was honestly nothing surprising about that. Yeah. So what was my favorite module? My favorite module was it planning principles, I think. Good diploma. And then we at BTech level, it was community studies and ECT. They talked about cities and how cities change and how but that was ECT. And then there was community studies, which talked about the complexities of spaces and the people that live in them, and how certain countries are far better off because of the way things are in those countries. It was just, you know, some sort of a psychological analysis. So yeah, and then it had to do with law, so it came back to the law. So apparently Mugai was right, so it came back to the law. Yeah, the other one was law and things like that. I really enjoyed those kind of subjects. So yeah. So when did I graduate? I first graduated in 2016, being the class of 2015, for my diploma, and then I graduated again in 2018 as the class of 2017 for my BTech. Yeah. So what experience do I have so far? So while we were studying, our course was broken up into sections. It was first year, and then you had in-service training, and then it was third year, then you got your diploma. So for my in-service training, I was with the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, largely known as COGTA. I was with those guys for the year, and I worked under a special planning. I did my BTech. After my BTech, I got an internship with the Msunduzi municipality. I worked with them for a year under development planning. So yeah, that's where I worked for a year, where I interned in Msunduzi municipality. And then after that, it was my current employer, is a department somewhere around KZN. What are my career goals? So my career goals are obviously to, you know, climb the ladder, the corporate ladder, you know, yeah, basically to climb the corporate ladder. I do see myself as a chief planner somewhere, someday, you know, or manager planning. Definitely I do see myself there. But more than anything, I would really like to go on an exchange program, or maybe work for about 2-3 years in a different country, preferably one of the first world countries. It's really like something I would really love. I would really love if that would come true, and I am working towards something like that. So yeah, those are basically my career goals. So what kind of person or student would I recommend town planning to? If you're a person that likes to travel, and you really like concerned about the well-being of people, and you know how space is formed, and you know you always ask yourself, I wonder how they did that, and why things are where they are in the town, then if you are constantly inquisitive about those things, then I would really recommend town planning for you. Somebody who does geography, somebody who does drawing at school, somebody who liked architecture but couldn't get in, you can also try town planning. The last question says, what lessons have I learned in my career? So far I have learned that I can't change it all. Hey, I can't. Like, in fact, I have little to no power to you know, to make change. And you know, it's like, planning takes time, eh? You're not gonna wake up tomorrow and see things. It takes time. Yeah, but that's the thing, that there's so many things that affect planning. And you know, you just, because when you leave school, they give you the impression that, you know, Mugel, you're gonna just go out there and you are going to, you know, establish townships, and you are going to, like, you know, turn this town into a city, and you are going to be the 8 person. They are gonna know you, and the town will just change face just because you're there. It doesn't happen like that. Like, many times, you know, it honestly doesn't happen like that. There are so many things. Politics affect town planning so much, you know, the economy affects town planning so much. So many things affect town planning. It's just, it's a mess up there, okay? But you know, you can try your best and do what you can at the time, but nje, that's what I've learned, that you can't change everything. You must nje know yourself, know what you can do and what you can't do, contribute to the profession, but nje, ambition can only go so far. So that is the biggest lesson that I have learned so far in my career. Maybe when I do an updated version in a year or so, of the lessons that I've learned in my career so far, I would have changed my mind, because remember, I'm still new. So I don't know, maybe I'll change my mind, but that's what I've learned so far, that it gets complicated in the field. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's about it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really appreciate you guys coming back to watch, and for those of you who made it to the end, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I understand that this video is very long, so thank you guys for watching, Jay, for coming through for the girl, and you guys are just always here. Yeah, bro. So thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share it with your friends. Jay, tell the people that, you know, there's this girl and they must just come through and watch. So yeah, thank you so much guys for watching. I really love you for it. Bye.